YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Kislev here, and I'm going to be bringing you some action from the Grove of Slaughter. This one is going to be up against Indy Pride again. He is going to be leading the Greenskins with Grimgor Ironhide against my Boyar and his forces of Kislev in a domination battle, which is where you control these different capture points in order to try and earn 5,000 victory tickets. You get to call in reinforcements as it goes. That is based on the supply counter here. And you're attempting to essentially get more points than your opponent. And the Greenskins versus Kislev is going to be interesting. Kislev, of course, has access to a ton of range, as do the Greenskins. However, this map has a lot of forest, and the capture points are either very near to forest, or they are in the forest. And so missiles are probably not going to be the weapon of choice for this map, because it will be very difficult to clear out the center point with the missiles, and units can kind of sally through it without having to get hit. And you can see here, initially, I'm going to push forward to all the points and try and at least have something in the capture zone. Now, I could not see these Warlords boys, obviously, and so I was scouting ahead, because I figured that Indy had something over here. And then I am over here moving up this side with an Armored Cassar, and I'm going to be holding just in range this capture point. But you can see that Indy has the same idea. He's already even got the Broken Tusk Mob, some Biggins. So he's already got quite the force waiting on me over there. I sent most of my units to the middle because I want to capture the middle. I've taken my leaders out too, and I'm just kind of looking to distract and disrupt his approach here, because remember that this game has a lot to do with how long can you hold something, and will it be long enough to get the points. So this is risky for me to put my leaders in early like this, but I figured that he didn't really have anything effective to stop me from getting in here and being able to run away, and so that is exactly what I'm going to do. I go ahead and use a little bit of healing here to heal up my units, shrug off that attack and push back. And see, now the capture points are about to open up. And see, I've delayed one of his units just long enough, so this is going to make a huge difference in me getting a hold of point 2 first. So my plan there did end up working out. We'll see how long it lasts, but at least so far, it's going to do what I want. So I've got my Armored Cassars here. Some of mine are great weapons. Others are the more defensive variety. I put them all on defensive mode. That way they can shoot from the pack ranks while they're fighting in melee up front, and hopefully give me even more value. It looks like all of these are the great weapon variant. I've also got Daz's Hearthguard over here, which is a very, very tough Zarguard unit. And I knew that I would need this because almost certainly there was going to be Black Orcs in the forest. There's not just any Black Orcs, folks. This is the Crimson Killas. So the Crimson Killas are here. It'll be a little bit scary. And then there's a standard Black Orc rolling in there, as well as a Orc Shaman, and the biggest and toughest orc of them all. Look at my Armored Cassars over here. I just put them on the corner of the capture point, and I'm able to sit here and start shooting at the nasty Skulkers, dealing them damage. But at this point, I've got 2 capture points. I was able to take the one on my left with some extra forces, and my leadership's help, so I kind of left my infantry alone for a moment in the middle, which is risky because I'm going to get overwhelmed. But this gave me the control of 2 points, at least for now. At point 1, I'm going to have difficulty taking. I have what I've heard Turin dub as the Capture Cat. I'm sure he knows why it's picked up that name. I'm not familiar with it, but I like the name. It's catchy. So I'm going to steal it while giving credit to him. If someone else created it, then he can tell me about it. But in any case, my Armored Cassars here, look how much attention they've managed to attract. I'm using a Winged Lancer here, which is a heavier cavalry, and my cat, and I was actually thinking right now, I was like, should I go disrupt his reinforcements, make it hard for them to come onto the battlefield? Meanwhile, I summoned a Cassar Spear. I didn't bring many of these, but I brought this one with the intention of being annoying, shooting him and leaving it on skirmish, because I figured I could control the movement around the battlefield easily enough. Look at this, man. Daz's Hearthguard is just laying an absolute wallop on these Black Orcs over here in the woods. I mean, Black Orcs are a tough infantry unit, and they are getting absolutely clobbered right now. Now, the Crimson Killas, on the other hand, finally worked their way through that Armored Cassar, but it took them a long time, and I was pretty happy with how long that took. You can see here that this unit that's now shot all its ammo, I cycled it into combat. I'm going to fall back with the unit that still has ammo and try and just take any cheeky shots I can get in order to maximize the value out of these Armored Cassars. You can see, though, that they're having trouble getting all the way out of combat and shooting. So I'm trying to make it happen there, but it just didn't. I went ahead and let my Lancer here hold these Trolls. Again, this is a delaying tactic. I'm gaining more points right now, and my objective, at least, you can't get too extreme with it, but if I can hold 2 units of Trolls back here, for a decent amount of time with my Winged Lancer. That feels worth it. And I took my cat all the way back into the spawn, hoping to maybe pick something off as it spawned, just to be irritating. Look at this Kassar Spear. The Orc Biggins can't catch it, and it's just shooting them, and again, giving me a little bit of value here that I desperately need to get, especially since I had to sacrifice a Winged Lancer. The Greenskins are having a very difficult time recapturing point 2, and my leadership has come back to make that even more difficult, so I attacked this Black Orc in the rear. They finally started getting a little bit of a leg up on my Hearthguard, and that was after there was some spells that came in to support it. The Hearthguard is still doing pretty darn well. The Crimson Killas are nearby, and I am going to turn and charge into them, because I don't want them to get a clean rear charge on me, and I'm going to let my leaders finish up this other Black Orc, and then I'll have to support against the Crimson Killas. I do have some magic to help with that, but the Stone Trolls are here. It's not going to be good. They actually have some pretty nice missile resistance. I am going to go ahead and shoot them because they're a large target. You can see they are fairly resistant to such things. I'm going to bring the cat over. I just need to keep as much capture power on point 2 for as long as I can, because if I give it up and cough it up, then I'm not going to be able to stay ahead. I mean, I've got a nice lead, but Indy is slowly gaining his the ability here to start taking some capture points from me. The one on the right, I just don't have the capacity to take. However, the longer I can hold in the middle, the better. And by having thrown that extra weight back in here with the cat, with Daz's Hearthguard, with this Armored Kassar, with my leaders, it's just enough for me to keep Indy from taking this from me, and it's really helping out right now because I'm picking up some extra, well, it says that victory. I'm not gaining any at the moment. But yeah, I am. That's weird. It says I'm not, but I am. We're gaining right now, which I should be because they're still under my control. I was able to use these Hawks of Miska to do a little extra damage to the Crimson Killas, drive them back, force them away from the fight, take some damage as they pull away. These trolls are absolutely kicking my butt right now, and they're mixed in with some Skulkers. That is a pretty nice mixture with their debuff, the armor piercing of the trolls. So this is not a great situation. I threw my cat in here to do a little fighting, and the cat is shattered. It's not loving life at the moment. And look at this over here, my Winged Lancers and my Kislevites Dervishes have come over and managed to contest this capture point and help me hold on to it. So again, just as a holding maneuver, this has been very worth it. Winged Lancers are terrible in prolonged combat, but they're pretty decent on a charge, and so by sacrificing this cheaper Dervish, I can sit here and I can cycle a few charges and rack up some damage and also keep enough weight on this capture point in order to just keep it from falling to Indy. And that bought me some time too to get a Zargard with Great Weapon out onto the point 2. However, unfortunately for me, it looks like I'm probably going to lose control of point 2. We'll see what happens when the Zargard comes on. It looks like that actually starts to maybe swing it. Nope, it's still capping for Indy. So I'm going to start losing this point here. However, this Zargard is going to be very difficult for him to cut through, and it's going to basically give me some time to start thinking, all right, what do I want to do next? So how do I want to do this? Point 3 is coming back under my control. You can see that the cycle charges here from the Winged Lancers have produced some kills, and that ability that keeps your units from breaking for 30 seconds has also been very handy. I've held this point for a very long time. There are some Stone Trolls nearby I'll have to keep an eye out for. I noticed that Indy had pulled his units off of point 1, probably suspecting that I wasn't making a play for it, and when I saw that, I summoned some Winged Lancers and was hoping to get over here and have an opportunity to capture point 1, because I could see at this point, if I do not, I will probably lose the game. So I'm going to have to start swinging things here. Look at this. These Zargard, tough units, but man, they are up against an Orc Shaman, and it looks like a couple of trolls. One's a River Troll, and the other one's a Stone Troll, so it's going to make life very, very not fun for my Zargard. Plus, they got a Skulker mixed into there as well. My leadership is trying to help put a beating on Grimgor. This dude is tough, though. And my leaders are not bad, but they're really not made for a fight up against something like Grimgor, so it's not a great situation for me. And then there's even more Greenskin infantry, so it becomes very clear at this point that point 2 is lost, and there's really nothing that I can do about it. However, my stalling on point 3 comes in handy, and I'm able to get some more Armored Kassars and keep my Lancers alive so they can keep harassing. Meanwhile, on point 1, I swung out with my Winged Lancers and got an uncountered charge into his Night Goblin Squighoppers, which, see, took away about half of the health of that unit. And although they are armor piercing, I'm hoping that my unit just has a little bit more oomph and can push him off. And then I brought in another capture cat here, and that's actually starting to swing point 1 into my favor, and will also swing this melee into my favor. So now Indy is going to have to start reacting to this point being captured. And again, this is a matter of time. I'm far enough ahead at this point that if I take that capture point from him and just delay over here, if I can just hold his forces in point 2 for as long as possible, he's not going to have enough time to come out and flip the battle. Even if he does come and take these points, he would have to take all 3, right? Which would be very difficult. So that's kind of the position that I've left him in here. And fortunately, it's working out for me. Now, funny thing is, I'll tell a quick story while we're watching this unfold and let you all see, the rest of this battle's going. We actually played on the same map with the same factions prior to this, and I was thinking of a different strategy. I was like, well, what if I took a ton of cavalry and I just used my mobility to really kind of just bounce around and take capture point? It was terrible. It was awful. Indy, he took my head and stomped it to the curb and then threw me out like yesterday's trash. With the Greenskins, it was rough. So I wouldn't suggest on this map trying that. The trees are too many. It was too difficult to handle, and the Greenskins were able to just throw too much weight around. This map, I think that Kislev and Greenskins is an interesting matchup. The Greenskins still have a lot of tools that are very good here, but Kislev also has some pretty potent infantry, and it can be used to good effect. And then they have some nice tools like the Snow Leopard, like the Lancers, that are relatively cheap cavalry. It can be used for quick captures. And so here you can see that I am finally going to lose point 3, but it took Indy so long to capture it that it's too late. I now have enough swinging in my favor that it almost just doesn't matter. So now if I can just make sure that point 1 cannot be taken, I'll win. So again, now it just becomes a delaying maneuver. I have to stop Indy from getting anything over to point 1 quickly. At this point in time, it's obviously too late. So you can see me, I'm bringing in these units to just set up a block here just to make sure that he can't get to point 1. And so despite the fact that ultimately he started pushing me back and overwhelming me, which I'm not terribly surprised about, because from a value standpoint, he just started trading better later in that game. I was able to use my units to take some points and just hold on to it long enough. So I think a few things were key to me being able to win this here. The first was getting my leaders out here and disrupting his infantry, ensuring that I captured point 2 first. It took a gargantuan effort for him to take point 2 from me, almost more than I expected, to be honest. He had a lot of units out here, and it took a very long time. I don't know what happened there, but it took a very long time for him to retake that point. And then the fact that I was able to snag point 1 over there ended up being absolutely critical, again, to finishing that one off. But a great game nonetheless, a fun game, and playing Kislev in a way that I would not have expected to play them, because that is not typically the way that you play Kislev. If we take a look here, nothing special out of my leadership, but they did provide some good mobility and some staying power and some capture power, so they were useful. Daz's Hearthguard here didn't get a ton of kills, but these were almost all Black Orcs and Crimson Killas that they were killing, so they still got some pretty incredible value. Not bad here from the Armored Hussars. Nothing special on these two. Some of these ones out on those side capture points, though, did very well against the cheaper goblins. Let's go take a look at my reinforcing units. I got to use this Zarguard. It didn't do great, but remember, it was up against 2 trolls and like an Orc Shaman. Honestly, that's probably not bad considering it was out of its league there. My Lancers, they did a good job of holding and helping to capture points, and the same thing with the Capture Cat. They're not going to have a lot of value, but they will have been useful to that extent. This one Armored Hussar was funny that it came out and managed to cause a distraction, which ended up being quite nice for me. I can imagine if I hadn't killed those Orc Biggins or had them run off, it would have been much more difficult for me to take point 1, or they would have transferred to point 2 and taken that from me sooner. But look at Grimgore here, throwing down a beating at 2409. And then the Crimson Killas, I was surprised these guys didn't get more value. Indy and I were almost wondering if they were maybe a little bit bugged or something, because they just did not seem to be throwing down the level that we would have expected. It took them a long time to even just cut through Armored Zarguard. So I'm not sure. We have seen some units that have some strange behavior in this build. I don't know if they're one of them or not. You can see, though, on the flip side, the standard Black Orc has pretty solid value, which again leaves me wondering about the Crimson Killas for sure. Take a look at the rest of his army here. These trolls did spectacular work. These ones, I think, ultimately trapped my leadership and clubbed their heads in. And so not surprised to see them with a lot of value, because I'm pretty sure that they've got 3 nice new bearskin pelts that they'll be wearing around to impress the other trolls. So it was nice work on their part. Interesting units, the squig herds and hoppers. I don't think he ended up using all of these units per se, but anyway, hope you all enjoyed this one. You all tell me what you think about this matchup and domination. How would you play it on this map? Again, remember this map has a forest in the middle, so it dictates a slightly different type of engagement. HeirofCarthage is signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3.